Hi, there we go. Now I can hear you.
Okay. You sure?
Peace. So far, so good. Is that an upper or is that a piece of gum?
This is just pure cocaine in a bag.
Whatever gets you through the day, right?
What was that?
Whatever gets you through the day, man. Who am I to judge?
So nice to meet you, man. I'm Stephan.
Nice to meet you as well, my friend.
It's been a bit of a time we've had this planned for. Probably the furthest out lead time I've ever scheduled a podcast before. I'm shaking. I'm nervous, dude. You got me nervous.
What are you nervous for?
I don't know. You're pretty famous. By my caliber, you're pretty famous.
I appreciate that, man. It's interesting because I've been very fortunate to gather a bit of a following both for the podcast, my hockey career, and the blog as well. But it's funny because like when I meet other people that are way more famous than me, or famous if you want to call it that,
Yeah.
it's I mean, it obviously depends on who it is, but sometimes you think that's interesting. You're not quite exactly what I thought you were going to be. That's not what I expected based off online, or like this is a totally different person. Or some of them, it's like, man, you're actually a really cool dude. I thought you were going to be a dink. So,
Yeah.
like the quote Forrest Gump, life's like a box of chocolates. You really never know what you're going to get, which in and of itself actually makes no sense because if Forrest turned the box of chocolates around, it would tell you exactly what you were getting. But
Okay. Starting with tropes right off the top. I love it. So, before we start, because we're just going to start like it's going now, but like I'm going to do a little intro and stuff, and we're going to start this up. Do you have any questions for me off the hop or anything you want to tell me to, hey, don't fucking mention that or anything like that?
I'm an open book, dude. I wouldn't mind knowing what kind of gum you got in there. It actually looks like a pretty good piece of gum you put in there.
Cool. No, I'm just a little bit of I got off the real dips recently. I'm just doing like those little nicotine pouches, so it's kind of like dipping, but for pussies. Yeah.
I think Wheeler's doing the same thing. I think he alternates back and forth. Sometimes he'll go back to cigarettes. So sometimes he'll go back to dips. He's in and out.
True nicotine user. He loves them all.
He doesn't discriminate. He tries them all. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's beauty. All right. Well, okay, good. Good to hear, man. I figured you'd be an open book, honestly. I'm not surprised to hear that. So, yeah, everybody, welcome back to Canadian Talk. This is episode 115. Today we have on our first athlete. His name is Travis Ridgen. That's how you pronounce the last name, right? Ridgen. And he is a professional hockey player. If you can call it that, he's a goalie. Sorry, ladies. And you have an extreme online presence by, I think, any objective opinion. You have pretty much 500 followers for every one follower that I have. You have 30 million views on over 30 million views on your personal YouTube, 10 million plus views on your podcast YouTube, hundreds of thousands of followers across the platforms, just killing it in all ways. You do interviews of like NHL players and stuff like that from what I've seen. And you're very forthright with your opinion, and you're not afraid of shit. If I can just say that. And yeah, you gave me a little bit of your time today. And without further ado, this is Travis Ridgen.
Well, first off, congrats on 115 episodes. There was I got some newsletter the other day. I can't remember if it was from like Spotify or Apple or whatnot, but they were saying that something along the lines of like 95% of all podcasts on the entire inventory of Spotify and Apple have less than 3 episodes, and of those, majority of them have less than 20 views, and probably 15 of them are mom and dad and grandpa and uncle and auntie.
Exactly.
So 115, that's pretty impressive. Congratulations.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I am pretty proud of how far I've come on it, even though I've grown not that much. But yeah, they say, like you said, 99% of podcasts fail in like less than the first 20 episodes. For me, I found when I hit 20, it's really when it starts straining. You have to really find who you are and like, hey, what am I talking about? Like, what the heck am I actually even doing? Because you can bullshit it for the first 20 episodes and be like, oh yeah, I like talking about consciousness and politics, and then eventually you run out. After about 20 hours, you run out, and you really got to start. I don't know. I find podcasting keeps me right on the cutting edge of topics, whatever they may be, kind of current events. What's your favorite thing? Because you've changed over from like the more competitive athlete side now to now. Well, I know. Do you still play hockey a little bit, or?
I haven't skated since the last time you saw a Mike Dub video. So probably like 4 months plus.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. So, and you're kind of moving into media. What's your goal?
That's my goal. That's a
I
great
feel like,
question.
yeah, like,
There,
sorry, go ahead.
sure. Well, there's a bunch of goals. So there's obviously the vlog that I do, the vlog channel, and there's the podcast side of things. If I could piggyback on one of the things you just mentioned earlier before it escapes my mind, you mentioned not being so much afraid to say things the way that they are, or how I do things. I think that we're in an attention economy, right? And so if you want to start a podcast from zero, which in my opinion has been the hardest thing I've ever done in business, you're going from zero to hopefully something. You're posting these 10, 15, 30-second clips in this attention economy, and you're trying to get somebody's attention. And then you're trying to ask them, hey, I know I just took 15 seconds of your time. Could I have 45 minutes? It's very, very difficult for them to buy into that because there's no algorithm behind it. It's not like I just posted a video on my vlog channel last Sunday. We were staying at the NHL's most hated hotel, the Fairmont Winnipeg. That video did well, but thank you. But the algorithm is going to take that to new heights. But with podcasting, there really isn't an algorithm. You have to build a brand, build an identity, build something that's going to bring people in. So it's been very, very difficult. But I think that one thing that is very scarce in this entire online world is genuine authenticity.
For sure.
And I think the closer you get to being your true, genuine, authentic, unaffected self, regardless of what people say about you, it really radiates. And that's not one of those things that I think you can fake. And if you look at, I mean, the first year of episodes I did with my first co-host, Pat Shea, compared to the first episode, Dave, to now, where we're 4 years in, I think you can see a major difference in that. And that is one thing that I found to be very successful in helping us grow the last little bit, that we've been growing like a runaway weed for the last 6 months.
Yeah. I can't wait to. Well, let's talk more about that. And I'm curious about the path of that growth. But a couple things I wanted to add just to what you said there for sure was, you were talking about podcasts and how hard they are to grow them organically and things like that. I totally agree. But what's so good about that is kind of, it's a blessing and a curse in a way, right? Because I think that's why, let's say a guy like you, or at least a guy like me and all the millions of other people like us who watch podcasts, that's the reason that we so trust the ones that are on the top of the mountain. You know, the ones that have 1 million followers or whatever, whatever they may be. Even though a lot of them are hosted by, mostly comedians and stuff like that, you still really respect them just because of how difficult it is and how authentic you have to be to get there. It's not like the host of fucking CNN where they just get put there. It's just like a old trustworthy looking guy or like a young girl. Like that's what they pick. They have a picture and that person isn't necessarily qualified. They've just been a journalist maybe or something like that, but they haven't built their own following. So that I find is the power and of podcasting,
And if I could add one point there. So the show itself, I've been doing for, at the time that I'm in a benchmark here, is about 3 years-ish, a little under 3 years. And then so Wheeler and I, we got a network deal. And the network was like, listen, we love the show. You're doing huge numbers. You're the most viewed show on the planet that's not under a network. Let's talk about getting you on one. I think that we could both benefit. They get to make money off us and we get a bigger reach, and then we also make more money. Everybody wins. And but one of the big problems, well, first off, we had a deal and they didn't want to have Dave on the show. Like, Dave's a little bit too edgy, which if you watch the show, you're like,
how is that?
Yeah. Doesn't make much sense. I've said way worse things this morning than Dave said in his lifetime.
Stick by your guy, man. It's you got to have a second person on there. Even though I do a lot of mine solo, don't abandon your guy.
Well, you know what? That's an interesting story. And just allow me a second to explain it because there's a little bit of intricacies behind it. So we get the network deal, finalizing things for the new year for 2024. Things are looking great. Last minute, they pull the pin. They say, we don't want Dave. We just want you. And so I said to Dave, I said, dude, you know how I do business. I'm loyal. I don't really steer too far away from those that are good to me. Like if the ship's going down, we're going down together. And he, as a good personal friend of mine, said, you know what? I think this is great for you. I think that you should take this, and I think you should do it without me. I'm just the old guy who's been doing Canadian radio for how many years? I think you should learn what the business is actually like, because if this is our goal, you got to learn somewhere. And so I said, no, I want to do the show with us. And he said, well, I'm not doing the show with you anymore. You got to do the show under this network deal. I want you to learn how things are going to be. I said, well, you kind of tied my hands, so I got no choice. And so I ended up learning really, really quickly that, like you just mentioned, I have a show that has started from a Zoom call with 0 followers to now what we're doing now. But now it's under a network being I guess adjusted and filtered by a guy who's built shows from CBC and major networks. So he built Elliot Friedman's like 32 Thoughts, or I guess it was 30 Thoughts at the time before they had the two extra teams. But he's built a lot of the CBC and Sportsnet shows and did a great job with it, to be fair. But the problem with that was you have a brand, you have an audience, you already have quite a bit to work with and quite a bit of budget. And so although, yes, some of those things do work for all shows, you have to have a totally different approach. Like, and one of the things that we had in our meetings was every show that we have is here, you're here. And so that lack of understanding, that lack of compatibility really made it hard to deal with. To be honest with you, I think that lasted about 2-3 months. And then I just said, you know what, let's just go back to doing things the way that we were doing it before. I mean, Dave picked things up. And you know what? They're doing better now than they were before the network even picked us up. And I think we're at a point now where we don't need a network, where we're going to continue doing solo. But
hell yeah, man. Then they can't put a muzzle on you. And sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. I just want to add a little bit to it. Then they can't put a muzzle on you. And again, too, you don't get away from that pureness of podcasting because, you just got to be patient.
Well, to be fair, nobody puts a muzzle on me. Only I do it to myself. And at the end of the day, either I'm in the driver's seat or somebody else in the driver's seat. Someone's going to drive. Somebody's going to be in the passenger seat. And
you can give me that's the Canadian warrior mentality. I love it.
Well, you can give me as much feedback as you want. I ultimately am the one who decides what I do or don't want to do with it. So they're giving a lot of feedback. Some of it I said, you know what, that's not a bad idea. Some of it I said, you know what, that's absolutely terrible, and I will not be doing that advice. Thank you. I appreciate the ideas, though.
True. That's good. I'm glad you're so confident in that. But I will say, I do think that there is an impervious, an impossibly non-impervious, like the comments will eventually leach into your creative process a little bit, which is something you want to avoid,
The truth is somewhere in between there, if I could be honest with you. So, for example, if the comment section is 100% positive, I don't think that's very good, because I don't think you're being your true, authentic self. Because it doesn't matter if we're talking about me, we're talking about you, we're talking about anybody else. If you are truly your 100% authentic self, you will piss somebody off, because you can't be liked by everybody. Yeah. Now, if the comments are 100% negative, maybe we got to rein it back a bit, somewhere in the middle, because who was it? Was it Vince McMahon? One of the WWE guys said the biggest crime you could ever commit is if you walk into the ring and nobody boos, nobody cheers. That is the worst thing you could possibly do. Yeah. Because if they love you, they'll watch. If they hate you, they'll watch religiously.
Well, yeah. And what you're describing too is what I believe is one of the kind of little problems, I would say, with the system of democracy. So, because as any person gets bigger,
we're going on politics now.
No, not at all, not at all. Just referencing a principle. Because as any person gets bigger, it gets closer and closer to 50% of people hate you, 50% of people love you. You know what I'm saying? And that's what you're saying, is that, if the bigger you get, you're going to get people hating you and people loving you. And if you're not getting that, you're just simply not having people watch you, because either way you want to incite. And
of course, you need, to some degree, you need to inspire inspiration in the people that enjoy you, and you have to inspire emotional damage in the people that don't like you. Because we're in an attention economy, my friend. Like, if you can't find a way to capture somebody's attention in less than 2 seconds, you're not going to make it for very long. And I think that genuine authenticity of, even when, listen, I believe this, whether you like it or not, this is how I feel. And to stand behind that, and even though you face a little bit of fire because maybe it's against what the general society has been programmed to believe, that authenticity radiates true. And I think that even though you'll piss a lot of people off, you'll get even more people saying, wow, this guy believes it. This guy's the real deal. There's something about that energy that I really like.
Yeah. Right? And it's funny too, like, I tried for as long as I could when I first started, like 5-6 years ago, to play the middle as much as I can. And I still do that. But then COVID came rolling along, and I was like, gosh, dang it. Like, it was so hard for me to stay impartial with COVID, because I found it to be such an improper handling of the situation. Like, and it became this political war too, where like literally, if you look at it, you had one side wearing gang like bandanas on their face in a sense, and the other side was like, that shouldn't be allowed in my bank. And and then you had just blatant lying about, like, let's say the statistics or whatever, this many people are dying, that many people are dying. And
the science, but my grandma's gonna die. She's 95. Like, listen, old ladies die.
She was gonna die anyway. Give me a break. And then they're like, then they literally look at you like you're killing their grandma. It's like, no, you're taking away all my rights for your grandma. I'm 30. She's 95. So yeah, it's just backwards,
If I could add two things, I was kind of the same way. Pre 2020, if you'd ask me, like, I don't really care about politics, doesn't really affect me. Man, once I started rolling out the scamdemic, I cared a lot really quick, right? And I became very political very, very quickly.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of people are as well. I think that the one sad thing now is as much as I'd like to believe that a lot of people are waking up and opening their eyes and using them for the first time, I don't think enough are, which is unfortunate, but it is the way that it is. Man, that's a crazy time. People have forgotten about that so quickly. Like, oh, it was only like 3 years ago. They were locking me in my house. They wouldn't let me go to see my grandma die in the hospital because I could give her sickness even though she is dying. It's insane.
It's gone. It's gone. Yeah, the comorbidity stuff was crazy. But I mean, another one that I find that I'm very partisan on is Don Cherry. Like, what happened to him just absolutely kills me, and I'm not able to unpack what even happened there. Maybe it was just time for him to retire, and that's like a way that you retire a guy of that stature. But still, I don't like that he kind of got dragged across the media. What do you think?
Well, this is something I'm going to steal from somebody significantly smarter than me. But where there's money, corruption follows not too far behind. And if, let's say, you have sponsors, corporations that are paying the bills, they're dishing out money to CBC, and CBC is run and funded by the government has a certain agenda, you'd have to think that on a balance of probability, the government will have some say on what's going to be going on at your corporation, as well as the sponsors, which are also in bed with the government. So when some dude who at one point in time was probably one of the biggest patriots in Canada, and Saturday night, 7 p.m., first corner or first intermission, coach's corner, the entire country stops and watches what they're doing. When he says something that isn't in line, well, he's got to go. Mm-hmm. And even though now we look, he was very cutting edge at the time. I think it's something that's always been a universal truth. But now, I don't think there's anything wrong with what he said. I think a lot of people are actually coming around to it and saying, you know what, Grapes is pretty spot on. At the time, society, most people, myself included, were kind of being a little brainwashed to say, that's not okay to say. But now that we've seen the consequences, I'll use this example. So if you and I were to have, let's say, $10,000, and I wanted to invest it in the stock market myself, and your mom said, oh, I'll invest it for you, Stephen. Well, I'm going to learn my lessons a lot harder and a lot quicker than you because I have it faced like head on. Like, it's my actions, my decisions that are going to be costing or making me money. So I have no choice but to learn, right? With, let's say, if your mom was doing it, you don't really have those same repercussions because maybe she's like, you know what? I'll just give him some of the money back. I don't want my son to lose money. It's like if you throw them into the fire and they have absolutely no choice but to learn, they're going to learn very quick. Hence 2020. You get very political very quickly when you're like, I don't see a pandemic going on. It's interesting. Why can't I go into the grocery store more than 20 people at a time? Why can't I see grandma? Why do they have a snitch line for them to call the police on me for having friends over for Christmas because I want to celebrate and give some presents and have a barbecue?
Yeah.
Wait, whoa. You guys are giving away $100 prepaid MasterCards. If I want to take this vaccination, I can go as many times as I want and get free ice cream. If I got cancer, you'd let me die and bill me out the wazoo. But now you want to pay me and give me ice cream? Interesting.
No doubt. Yeah, no doubt. Definitely needs a little more investigation.
And listen, man, when they started talking about the free MasterCards, I was like, listen, I'll go 12 times. I'll just keep going. Yeah. I could use the MasterCards right now, but still a little whack.
Turn this thing into a career. Yeah. So where did you come up with the Slangin' the Biscuit title for your podcast?
You know what? There's a different Winnipeg morning radio host. His name was TJ Connors. Him and I have been talking about doing a podcast for a couple of years, and then COVID hit. So we got nothing to do here, so I might as well start a show. And he originally called it "Shooting the Biscuit." And I sat on that for a while. I was like, well, that's a pretty good idea. And then he ended up getting busy and trying to get into some real estate. And then Pat Shea came along, and I said, why don't we start a show? Call it "Slingin' the Biscuit." We'll spell it slangin', but say it's slingin', so it gets kind of people talking about it again, just kind of get people to think.
Yeah.
And then we'll do biscuit like Limp Biscuit, not a hockey biscuit. Yeah. So that kind of stuck. And then me and Dave have had that ever since. So we started with one morning radio DJ, and then now we're ending on another.
Sweet. Yeah, Slangin' the Biscuit sounds a little cooler than Shooting the Biscuit for sure. That sounds a little American, Shooting the Biscuit.
I mean, so far, no complaints.
Yeah. So what else? I mean, what did you think about this year's World Juniors? Did you watch it?
Juniors, God, I can't even remember if I watched. Did I watch it? I'm having a hard time remembering, so probably not. Yeah. Actually, no, I was in Jasper over Christmas, so no, I didn't watch very much of it.
Oh, fucking fancy! I like Jasper burnt down though, didn't it?
It did over the summer. I think they opened back up like end of September, start of October, and
was
then
it as bad as they were saying when you went there? Like, was it pretty destroyed?
It's hard to say. I've been there a couple times since then. Like we went for took my missus there for Christmas for a couple nights at the Jasper Lodge for the Railway Hotel series I'm working on, and then been by there two times now on the train as well. And it's hard to tell because there's still like a lot of snow, or at least a good amount of snow. So I don't think you're gonna be able to see like the full damage and the full burn until like all the snow is gone and everything's out there. But
Yeah.
you can definitely notice. But it is. I don't think it's as bad looking now as what it'll be when everything's
Yeah.
gone and melted.
Yeah, I think probably the reason you can't remember the World Juniors this year is that I feel like you might have some sort of a trauma response to it, and it's pushing it out of your mind. Because my God, dude, I had the punishment of watching it all this year, and obviously I watch it every year. I love the World Juniors. I almost made the team myself. Did you ever almost make the World Junior team?
No, I can't say I got any calls with the team. I'll be honest with you.
Oh, okay. Anyway, I was watching it, and my God, dude, it's just for Canadian style hockey, we've been doing so bad, and I've been trying to figure out why. My earlier theories were like, oh, maybe it's weed, the legalization, maybe that's messing with our guys or something. And but I am now at the final conclusion that it's just the refing. The refing is so soft on that international hockey that it makes it hard now for us, at least in the last 7 years or so, to play our style. It's real tough. My God, and it's not only just bad refing; it's bad refing at critical times. Like it feels sometimes like it's almost targeted. Like, oh my God, you should. It's too bad you didn't watch it because then we could really talk about the specifics of some of the calls that were made. But yeah, anybody watching who's seen it, they're gonna know what I'm talking about. It was painful, painful. I do a lot
I
of sports
mean,
betting. Do you ever bet on sports? I'm a pure
no,
addict, dude.
no, I don't do any sports betting. Putting money in the market and in stocks is probably about as much as I can do. I mean, with how much Elon's been tanking the Tesla stock lately,
Yeah,
I'm probably
man.
good through betting for a while. I mean, that
Short,
dude is.
short Tesla. I mean, another good one you could do is now that Trump just came in. I don't know. Do you think that like I've been thinking about putting a lot into like an index, like a Nasdaq or something like that? But I'm wondering how far it's going to fall before it starts climbing again. Because like, do you think that Trump? Do you like Trump? That's a question. That's a curious one.
I love Trump. Big Trump lover.
Oh yeah. What's your favorite thing about him?
My favorite thing. There's a lot of things I like about him. I think the biggest thing is that he just comes in. He just says like, "F the establishment. I don't. I have money. I don't need your money. I don't owe anybody favors. I'm coming in guns a blazing, whether you like it or not. Here's the truth." And this is I had this argument with somebody recently, but at this point in time, somebody said like, "Oh, like you believe Trump blindly," and at this point, honestly, yes, I will take whatever he says at face value because he's bad at basically 100%. I mean, look at COVID. He called it the China virus. It came from China. It came from a lab. It wasn't from bat soup. He said it like day one before it even was a thing. Everybody called him a racist. Boom, he was spot on. He was talking about the border issue. Oh well, you're a racist. Well, pretty spot on with the border issue. Basically, anything and everything that he's talked about. Fast forward, he's called 100%. And although very unpopular sometimes at the time, especially with the and I got a kick out of the they're eating the cats, they're eating the dogs, and the people that live there. That was
That was so funny.
It's funny actually if you can see
Oh,
he got a good laugh on that one too. I remember we were watching the debate live, and he was like, "Hmm."
yeah.
But
Oh, the debates are so fun to watch. I can't get enough of it.
I also enjoy just from the competitive athlete side of things, his never say die attitude. I mean,
Yeah.
they tried to bury him on social media in silence, and they tried to throw him in jail. They tried to kill him. They tried to
Yeah.
assassinate his
Yeah.
character, and he's like a cockroach. He will
Yep.
not die, right?
Yep.
And I find a lot of inspiration in that too. And obviously, he's not an athletic type by any means, and I'm nowhere near a Trump entrepreneur level. But
Yeah.
there's some universal truth in that I really find a lot of inspiration as somebody who's trying to build a podcast who played hockey for a decent amount of time and had a little bit of success doing so. And just being from an entrepreneurial mindset, like I find a lot of inspiration from that.
Yeah.
If that dude can take a bullet to the head and keep on going, like
Wow.
why can't I keep? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
he got
exactly.
shot and he
Yeah.
didn't care. Like first thing he did was fight, fight, fight.
So
And
great.
you posted Instagram clip of your show, and you're like, oh, I don't like the people being mean to me. It's like
Yeah.
bigger issues here, right?
Toughen up already. Yeah, no doubt. I can't wait to see how this Doge thing turns out. I'm really excited about that because, like, I've always been quite critical of Musk, but again, I'm not very vocal with any of that kind of stuff. But to do with a lot of the electric car initiative and things like that, and just worrying about where we're going to get all these batteries. But I'm glad to see him kind of teaming up with Trump. I'm very curious if this Doge thing is going to function as efficiently as it has in some of the places it's been used already. Like only one I know of really, I guess, is Poland. But apparently it's worked so good there. They balanced and there was a Middle Eastern place that did it too, where they balanced the whole budget of their whole country in like 4 years just with doing this, having a department in the government that looks over all the other ones. It's not like they're superior, but they just operate purely on efficiency,
Well, think about like your home right now, right? Like you own, do you rent, if I may ask?
I'm in real estate. I own multiple homes. I made money in professional poker when I was in engineering school, so I bought a bunch
Nice.
of houses near universities. So I'm kind of like a real estate little mogul kind of thing. That's what I do. So I own my homes. Yeah,
Okay, so I would assume like the house you're in right now, every 2, 3, 6 months, you probably do a spring cleaning, right? Like you do like little like speed cleans every now and then. Like
yeah,
I spill some food in the counter, wipe it up.
yeah,
Maybe I do some piss in the toilet seat, wipe it up. But every now and then you probably do a major cleanup, right?
for sure.
Imagine if you didn't do that for 150 years. How like there'd be some disgusting. Like think about that for a second. How
Yeah.
disgusting the toilet seat would be. Like the grime behind the bolts in the seat.
Oh
Think of
yeah.
all the scum and the grime in the fridge. Like the place would be disgusting.
Yep.
And so and this to come back to my earlier point that I don't think enough people are using their eyes. It blows my mind that. And listen, like I'm a little bit critical of Elon as well because listen, like I got skin in the game. He's costing me money because I got money in Tesla stocks, and I'm not a big fan of you dropping the stock 50% in a month. With that being said, at the same time, you you have to love the fact that he's going to come in and he's going to try to say, listen, like we're spending too much here. This is bloated. There's a bureaucracy here. This department makes no sense. It's costing you money. We're going to clean it up. And the people that, so I was just on the train. I did a round Canada trip from Vancouver to Montreal, Ottawa, back all the way back.
Cool.
And
I've been
it's
to do that.
it's really cool, cool experience. And it's a very social experience too, because there's no Wi-Fi, so you have to talk a lot. You have dinner with people you've never talked to before. And the amount of times like politics people will just randomly bring up politics at the dinner table or they're sitting around having a coffee or Trump this, Trump that, Ukraine this, Ukraine that. And the amount of people I would just over here, I just sip my coffee and smile and I would just listen because I'm entertained. But the amount of people that would just like they have not necessarily Trump derangement syndrome, but like Elon derangement syndrome, where they're just going off the deep end. Like,
yeah, it's red.
He's gonna save us money. He's trying to cut back government spending, so I don't pay as much taxes. This is awful. And these people have just bought into CBC or CNN brain because like that's all they listen to. Like, they have no idea to critical think, and it blows my mind. And it honestly, dude, it makes me scared for the future of Canada because as somebody who's I'm in my late 20s. I'm starting to think about I want a family. I want to build a life somewhere. Thinking like this is the future of Canada. Like part of me believes like all the smart people have left, and I'm just one of the idiots remaining. But the fact that the majority of people in Canada think this way, it's like my gut. Like, dude, we are so in trouble.
Yeah, maybe, but it is nice to be a big fish in a little pond at the end of the day. And just like you didn't give up on Dave, we can't give up on Canada. And
You know what I would love to see is I don't know if you saw. So Trump was offering if you want American citizenship, I think like $4 million, $5 million bucks.
yeah,
you can buy
the
your
gold card. It's his new
Yeah.
version of the green card. It's $5 million, and you get gold status citizenship.
I love that idea.
Yeah.
You think it's been so easy for people to come across illegally the last 4 years and hard to come across legally. Now he's kind of reversing where you can't come across illegally, but you can buy your way in, which I like that idea quite a bit. And it's good for the economy.
Yes, exactly.
But as far as a Canadian, as somebody who, and regardless of what the comment section says or what people tell me, I love my country more than anybody else. I want to see the ship land. I don't want to see it sink. But at the same time, there's a lot of things that Trump's doing that I really do like. And you'd like to think that as a businessman, if he was to offer anybody in Canada, we'll offer you a free citizenship. You just sign up, do the paperwork, takes a day, boom, you can come in, get American citizenship, and we'll transfer all your Canadian dollars for US dollars. And you can come in tomorrow. I'd like to think that pretty much anybody with half a brain cell to rub together would jump over and go and do that. And you just have the slave workers left, essentially. And then at that point, Trudeau would be so in trouble, or the country would be so in trouble that Trump will be able to take over and be able to fix whatever problems we have. But at the same time, I'd like to see us, stick it out and make things work. But
yeah,
I don't know, man.
Maybe we let them buy Alberta just for a little while. Like maybe we loan them Alberta and we see like how it works for a little while. I don't know.
Dude, I told Dave the other day. I said, man, if Alberta joins the U.S., I'll be the first lease. I will sign the first lease in United States, Alberta. There will be nobody that beats me to that.
Fuck yeah, yeah. So yeah, you've done a lot of interviews. How many people do you think you've interviewed total? And like who's been your favorite interview so far?
When Pat Shea and I did the show for the first year, we must have done like 20 or 30 interviews. And just random guys asking them general hockey stuff. But since Dave and I started doing things, we tried to like build the brand as like ourselves. Like you're going to come for us, and then when you get an interview, it's bonus.
Yeah.
I think that we've done. Ian White, Matt Murray, Corey Schneider. We've probably up to this point in time, the ones that are live, we've done maybe 6 to 10 interviews.
Okay.
But we're doing a summer interview series right now where we've been banking interviews all winter. And we're going to do interviews all July through September. So like we've done
I like
Matt Hackett.
I like the ones that when they're in person. Yeah, they're a lot better than these video interviews for sure.
Yeah, it's tough, dude. Like you get so much better energy and also like you get a little more chemistry going too.
Exactly.
But sometimes like that's all you can do because we're based in Winnipeg. Not a lot of people want to go to Winnipeg. We're not a big budget. We're gonna be flying, getting hotels.
Whatnot. You're even farther north than I am. Yeah, we're up in the middle of nowhere, man. Hey, quick machine gun question though would be like, what province do you think is the best hockey province in Canada? Makes the most good players. If you had to pick the best province in Canada for like production, what would you have to pick?
You know what? I'll go with Manitoba. I think that maybe not the best, but I think the most growth the last 10 years. Like the amount of guys going first, second round out of Winnipeg. I mean, Denton Matachuk playing for Columbus, Owen Pickering playing for Pittsburgh. It's a couple other ones I can't remember off the top of my head. All going first, second round. They're playing in the show, and those are guys that not too long ago I was skating with in the summers. So
yeah, you're one generation younger than you're one generation younger than I am, but I would agree. Manitoba probably has the throne now. I feel like before it might have been Saskatchewan, but man, isn't it crazy? Did you know that this is a real thing? That per capita, Saskatchewan, Manitoba produce more NHL players than anywhere in the entire world.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, now you know.
Beautiful province too, man. I love Saskatoon. Very underrated.
Yeah, it's under. What's my favorite part about it was growing up. Honestly, I never used to like it. I always kind of thought we're just kind of shitty. We're stuck in the middle. I thought we didn't have enough people, and then I've grown up to just kind of love the solitude of Saskatchewan. Like the camping, right? Like you can just go places for free. Like if you were to do that in BC, you're gonna have some cop or whatever they call it, RCMP roll up on you and be like, "Hey, what are you doing? How long you been here?" That kind of a thing. In Saskatchewan, you can go somewhere and you will not see a person for weeks. And I love that about the province. I think it's unmatched anywhere else. Maybe Manitoba has it though.
No, I think that a little hockey is on the up and up Manitoba. I think the province itself is on the down and down. I think Saskatoon is looking pretty good. I mean, and all the huge dumpster fire we have going on in Canada, I think Saskatoon is one bright spot. I actually really enjoyed going to visit their last summer. But
yeah, definitely. Thanks, man. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Well,
I think some more bright spots too. I love like mountain towns. I feel like the more remote you get, and less accessibility, the further away from a lot of the problems you get. So, for example, a Canmore, Alberta, or a Golden, BC, Revelstoke, BC.
Revelstoke. Yep, those are my two favorite places. Golden and Revelstoke.
They're beautiful. If you go there,
I'm probably going to start a little hostel in Revelstoke. That's pretty much my next step in my business plan.
Well, you might see me there, dude. If you open your eyes when you go there and you compare it to like other places, it's interesting because they have nowhere near the same problem. Like the homeless, not really an issue. The drug problems and the enabling of that, not really an issue. Might cost a couple more bucks, but you're going to get a way stronger sense of community, which I really appreciate. I love, your neighbors caring about you caring about your neighbors. You walk down the street, morning, how are you? Good, great, but getting better. Good to see you. As opposed to like you go into Vancouver or Winnipeg or whatnot, it's just like worker droids, face down, no sense of community. And especially like if you want to have a family, like that sense of community is so important. Even though I grew up in Winnipeg, which is the biggest small town in the world, there was still like a good sense of community, which I think is completely evaporated now. And you look at like a Revelstoke or a Golden or a Canmore, like they have a lot of community, which I really like. Even Valemont, just west of Jasper, which I really like. There's some really good spots. You just got to find them and have a couple bucks and open your eyes.
For sure. Hey, so when you were playing, a couple more kind of specific questions for you, if that's okay, and I won't keep you for too long. We just about got an episode here. When you were in when you were playing some of your hockey, where were you playing? And then did you end up with a university degree out of any of that? Or can you give me some more specifics on your hockey career?
Nope. Got a degree in the School of Hard Knocks, though.
Okay.
So I played 1 year. I use the word played very lightly. I played 1 year at Vancouver Island University in Nanaimo. Went over to Sweden for 2 years. Played 1 year outside of Stockholm in a town called Flemingsburg. 1 year outside of a town.
You went to Sweden to play hockey?
Well, yeah. I don't know if you heard. No, I'm not Swedish, but I don't know if you heard. There's this flu going around in 2020, and they shut down the rinks. So it was like, well, go to Sweden or don't go. Or don't play at all.
enough.
So why did I go there? I had an agent at the time. I no longer work with him, but I think it was like roughly March or February. He's like, hey, like there's some opportunities coming up in Sweden. How do you feel about that? They're like the only countries open right now. And I said, I think we should sign that. He's like, do you want to wait on that? Because I think a lot of things are going to be open. I said, this flu ain't going away. They're not going to open anything up anytime soon. He's like, I think you're nuts. I was like, just sign the deal, dude. Let's just get something in the books.
Yeah.
Funny enough, turns out I was pretty spot on about that. Yeah. And then
shortly after, probably like hockey like up there. Was it stronger than here, or was it pretty weak? Or
yeah, it was good. It was a lot of skill, not a lot of physicality, not a lot of toughness, but a lot of skill, a lot of patience. It was a completely different game. But I really enjoyed being over there. I don't know what it's like now because I haven't been there. I was in about 4+ years, but I miss it, dude. The food was great, culture is great, people are great, ladies were great. Everything was just fantastic, all in all over there. And although the taxes are pretty high, which I probably shouldn't be complaining about coming from Canada, but I really enjoyed it. I really did.
Yeah. Cool. I'm curious on a couple of name drops. Who's growing up in your career of hockey? Because you obviously did pretty good. For me, I have a couple favorites of players that I play with that I'm still friends with today who've done well. Like what kind of name drops you got? Like I don't know if you know Ryan Nugent-Hopkins on the Oilers.
No, I know I'm not a personal friend with him.
Yeah,
but
I played with him a little bit. Do you know Chandler Stevenson?
Yeah.
Yeah, I played with him. We were on a line for a few years together in AAA. And man, now he's doing so well. Chandler's probably my favorite name drop of person I've played with myself. He's got Stanley Cups now. He got that game-winning goal in Game 7 for the one Stanley Cup the one year. Another one is the Shens. You know Luke and Braden Shen? You know, my claim to fame is back when we were like 17, 18, because we're kind of the same age, me and those guys. I could beat both of them in a skating race. Like we would skate down the ice because we would go to the training. We would all the best guys in the province. We'd be all kind of playing in the same thing every now and then. And I was faster skater than both of them back in the day. But the problem was they each had 20 or 30 pounds on me, so I wasn't quite big enough, I don't think. But what's some names you've played with?
Keegan Folzar, he played for the Vegas Golden Knights. He comes to mind. Played with him. He was actually a year younger than me, so he would get called up to our AAA team and play with him a little bit.
Golden Knights, what a like that new franchise is just doing killer. Hey, I love watching the Golden Knights games.
Nolan Patrick was another one. I know his career got cut short. He retired recently, but I skated with him. Same type of deal. He was with the younger AAA team and get called up to us all the time. I did some summer skates with him as well. I think other guys that I skated with. There wasn't a whole lot, dude. Like this is why I was saying like the whole Manitoba thing has changed because not a whole lot of guys made it past the Western League that I played with.
Yeah,
with a couple of outliers, but now it seems like it's totally changed.
Yeah, my next door neighbor was an NHL player as well. His name is Eric Gryba. He played defense on the Oilers, I think. Now he I think he's done now, and he sells duck whistles for hunting.
Nice.
So
like dynasty stuff.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool, man. Hockey, I tell you, it builds a good foundation for a good person.
So measuring stick to life, my friend.
Yep, definitely. So curious. Have you liked Trump's approach to because I was theorizing for the longest time on how he might take care of this whole Ukraine-Russia thing. And I thought there's a chance that he might
back to politics there.
Hey, I dip in and out. I'm sorry. But did you see that interview? I mean, obviously they did an SNL spoof on it.
If I could cut you off real quick.
Yeah.
I saw this TikTok. I don't know who did it, how they did it. It was like the funniest TikTok I've seen like all year in well over a long time. It was so they took the Trump thing where he's like, "You don't have the cards. I have no cards, Mr. President." And they put him in like a poker table with like Uno cards.
Yeah.
And they put Trump having like a full hand of Uno cards, and Zelensky had done. He's like, "I have no cards, Mr. President." They had like disco ball. I don't know who did it, how they did it, dude. I died laughing at that. That was hilarious. But that is a perfect example of one dude in the driver's seat and one guy in the passenger seat, unconscious, no idea what's actually going on in his life. Like Trump's just a boss, dude. Like he just comes in there and says, "This is how it's going to be. These are my terms. If you don't like it, too bad. I have more power over than you." Then you have the media be like, "He's a bully. He's not for nice." That's how you do business. You know, it's funny. All the people that are crying that he's a bully, it's like, well, you probably got bullied because you were a dork in school, and you're still a dork. If you open your eyes and you look at that and you see the dude fighting for your country, not trying to tax you $100 and some odd billion to fund some war in God knows where, it's going to help profit some guy in some room who's got money in the weapons for the war, and then also has a contract to rebuild the city. It's like,
Yeah.
You know what kills me? I saw this one protest in Vancouver. So I split time between Winnipeg and Vancouver. I saw this protest last year.
Yeah.
It was they always have it down by the art gallery, kind of like where all the protests happen.
Yeah.
And it was LGBTQ people for Ukraine or whatever. And I thought, you have any idea what you people have any idea what they would do to you if you were over there? You realize that gay marriage is not allowed, and like they would hang you if they found out.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'd stone you to death, and you. Dude, like stuff like that blows my mind. Where it's like, can you people just open your eyes for 2 seconds? Like it's
no doubt. Well, man, you're fucking awesome. Thank you so much for coming on my show. I think your opinions are great. I think you're fucking awesome at what you do, and I can't wait to see you continue to grow and be a mogul in Canadian media. Even though I think you're already there, but it was awesome having you.
We'll see. There's a certain point I think where the powers that be won't let you have any influence anymore. Obviously, nowhere near that point yet. But it'll be interesting as we start getting more eyeballs, getting more traction to see what kind of barriers we run into with that.
For sure, man. Yep. Well, I wish you all the best. Thanks a lot for coming on the show. And that's it. That's Canadian Talk.
Thanks for having me, dude.
Please go subscribe to our YouTube page, Canadian Talk with Stephan podcast. We need you down there. Also, we have a website, Stephanjackson.ca, where you'll find the audio versions. As well, you can email us if you got a question or anything you want to see us talk about. CanadianTalkwithStephan@gmail.com.